Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ian Steff, and I serve as the Acting Assistant Secretary for Global Markets and Director General of the U.S. and Foreign Commercial Service. Welcome to the 2019 President E Award ceremony. Before we continue, two requests. Please turn off your cell phones, and please do not use flash photography. Thank you. At this time, we request that you please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard and the singing of the National Anthem by Scott McBride, an Assistant Chief Counsel for ITA's Enforcement and Compliance Division. Please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome to everyone here this morning, and congratulations to these 48 exceptional exporters and export servicing organizations that have demonstrated a continuing commitment to exporting. I would like to acknowledge a couple of special guests this morning. Congressman French Hill from Arkansas, here to support Safe Foods, and Congressman Ben McAdams from Utah, here to support Max Tech. Welcome. Thank you also to all of the congressional staff with us here today, from Senator Richard Burr's office, as well as Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick's office, Representative Balderson's office, and Congressman Ted Deutsch's office, and lastly, from the field representative from David Trone, here to recognize Earth Networks. Thank you for joining us as well. I am extremely pleased to introduce the Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade, Gil Kaplan. In March of 2018, Gil Kaplan was confirmed by the U.S. Senate to become the Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade at the U.S. Department of Commerce. Prior to his nomination by President Trump, Undersecretary Kaplan was a partner at King & Spalding and part of the International Trade Practice Group. He is also the founder of the Conference on the Renaissance of American Manufacturing and co-founder of the Manufacturing Policy Initiative. From 1983 to 1988, Undersecretary Kaplan also served in President Ronald Reagan's administration here at the Department of Commerce, where he was in charge of administering the U.S. anti-dumping and countervailing duty laws. Undersecretary Kaplan is a graduate of Harvard Law School and Harvard College. Please join me in welcoming Undersecretary Gil Kaplan.
Thank you, Ian, for that introduction, and thank you for your leadership of the commercial service. I am honored today to recognize the great work done by our E-Award winners. You represent the opportunity that we want to ensure all Americans have to seek prosperity not just in their own backyard, but across oceans and continents. For the past 2 years, the administration has demonstrated our commitment to increasing opportunity for U.S. companies like yourselves who want to do business in foreign countries, but sometimes face unfair barriers to entering some of those potentially profitable new markets. Many of the honorees today have worked with our Department of Commerce staff. These dedicated public servants work here in Washington, D.C., in our offices across the country, and our offices in embassies and consulates worldwide. They help U.S. firms connect with potential buyers and business partners, provide promotional services to help speed market entry, offer research and due diligence services, and provide counseling on everything from selling auto parts in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to selling pharmaceuticals in Osaka, Japan, and everywhere in between. And yes, we do have offices in both these locations. The companies here today achieved the success recognized by the President's E-Award through persistence, innovation, a plan to succeed, and often with a little help from our international trade specialists at the Department of Commerce. I want to recognize some of our international trade specialists here today who have been advisors, confidants, matchmakers, and coaches to many of these high-achieving exporters. Will they please stand? Oh. They work all over the world and all over the United States, and frankly, sometimes in dangerous areas, and we really appreciate everything they do. Secretary Ross will talk about some of the exporters that we will be honoring today, like Air Innovations, which manufactures environmental control units. I had the pleasure of visiting their facility last year in North Syracuse, New York. But I also want to acknowledge the valuable role of those E-Award winners who don't themselves export, but who provide the services and expertise to help other exporters. We work closely with state and local governments and organizations that operate through public-private partnerships to increase sales of American goods and services around the world. Organizations like the Arizona Commerce Authority and the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. In Arizona, the state, federal, and municipal governments work together to bring all their resources to bear for Arizona businesses. They help companies become successful around the world through trade missions, trade fairs, matchmaking, exporter training, and other services. In North Carolina, they have taken companies to more than 120 trade shows over the past 4 years and recorded export values topping $958 million last year alone. As I conclude here today, I'd like to thank you all for what you've done and will continue to do to grow exports and the overall economy of the United States. Through your work to develop your own businesses, you have gained valuable expertise that I encourage you to pass along with your communities. Consider applying for your local district export council and becoming a mentor to other businesses within those communities. Or perhaps you might be interested in participating on an industry trade advisory committee to help craft trade deals and policies that work for U.S. companies first. Keep up the good work. Now, I'm extremely pleased to introduce Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. The Secretary firmly believes that the Department of Commerce is charged with representing the voice of American business in government. You all know that the Secretary is one of the core members of the President's economic team. In this context, he is working tirelessly and vociferously to promote American industry, American workers, and the necessity for free, fair, and reciprocal trade. The Secretary is an expert in global economic commerce and the struggles our industries face against foreign countries that are not playing by the rules of trade. Secretary Ross is willing and has constantly stepped up to defend and promote American industries across the globe. And for that, we are grateful. He has had an exceptional government career in the 2.5 years he has been at Commerce, as well as an exceptional private sector career that preceded that, including as the chairman of W.L. Ross & Company. It is our honor and privilege to have Secretary Ross here today to talk about trade and present the President's E Awards. Welcome, Secretary Ross.
Thank you, Gil, for that very kind introduction and for your leadership of the ITA. We're fortunate to have you, Ian, and our other outstanding export promotion professionals located in 106 American cities and in 78 countries abroad, working to support companies like those in this room. On behalf of President Trump, I'm honored to welcome you to the nation's 57th Export Awards ceremony. We're delighted so many of you could join us for this special ceremony. Thank you also to our guests from Capitol Hill here to celebrate with your constituents. As was mentioned, Congressman Ben McAdams of Utah is with us to support Max Tech. Welcome to you, Congressman. And Representative French Hill of Arizona is here to honor Safe Foods Corporation. Thank you, Representative Hill, for attending. Please let us begin with a worthy round of applause for the President's E and E-Star winners. Having arrived at the Commerce Department from a career in the private sector, I know personally how difficult business development can be in global markets. So I thank you to all the award winners for your hard work at generating customers beyond our borders. Exports are critically important to